Okay, now we are on the Anattalakkhanasutta part 2. Okay, so I already cover, I think, 50%. So let's do the small chanting on this one. Yeah. Okay. So whoever want to chant, you all can unmute, right? Okay, Anattalakkhanasutta from the Samyutta Nikaya, from the Kandau Samyutta, or from the Vinaya Tipitaka Mahavaga Pali. Right? Anybody want to join me in chanting? You can unmute. Can you hear me? Okay, no answer.
Yes, IG.
Okay, you want to join me or not? Yeah, you just unmute, all right? Okay. Okay, we can start now. Ekam samaya bhagawa Varanisiyam viharati isipatane megadaye tathako bhagawa pancavagiye bhikkhu amantesi bhikkhavoti badante ti te bhikkhu bhagavato pacha sosum bhagawa edadawocha Lupam bhikkhave anatta, lupam chahidam bhikkhave atta abhavisa, naidam lupam abadaya samvateya labetha cha rupe, evame rupam hotu, evame rupam ma'ahositi, yasmachako bhikkhave rupam anatta, Tasma rupam abadaya samvatati nacha labati rupe evame rupam hotu evame rupam ma'ohositi Vedana anatta vedana chahidam bhikkhave atta abhavisa naidam vedana abadaya samvateya labeta cha vedanaya evame vedana hotu evame vedana ma'ohositi yasmachako bhikkhave vedana anatta tasma vedana abadaya samvatati nacha labati vedanaya evame vedana hotu evame vedana ma'ohositi. Okay, now we go to Fanya. Sanya anatta sanya chahidam bhikkhave atta abhavisa naidam sanya abadaya samvateya labekta cha sanyaya evame sanya hotu evame sanya ma'ohositi yasmachako bhikkhave sanya anatta tasma sanya abadaya samvatati nacha labati sanyaya Evame sanya hotu, evame sanya ma'ohositi. Sankala anatta, sankala chahidam bhikkhave atta abhavisamsu. Naidam sankara abadaya samveteyum labeta cha sankalesu. Evame sankala hontu, evame sankala ma'ahesunti. Yasmachako bhikkhave sankala anatta. Tasma sankala abadaya samvatanti nacha labati sankaresu evame sankala hontu evame sankala ma'ahesunti vinyanam anatta vinyanam chahidam bhikkhave atta abhavisa naidam vinyanam abadaya samvateya labetha cha vinyane evame vinyanam hotu evame vinyanam ma'ahositi yasmachako bhikkhave vinyanam anatta tasma vinyanam abadaya samvatati nacha labati vinyane evame vinyana hotu evame vinyana ma'ahositi. Okay, So up to now, we already study the Buddha say, if the vijnana, all these five aggregates lead to the attraction, then uh, if it, because it leads to attraction, that's why we if it does not lead to attraction, then we can say, may my vijnana hold to be like this. May my vijnana consciousness not my by this. It's because the vijnana is anatta. That's why the vijnana leads to attraction, and it cannot be obtained regarding the vijnana. Let my consciousness be like this. Let my consciousness be like that. Right. Now today we continue this part. This part actually quite nice to recite. Okay, so we recite here. Tangkimanyata bikawe lupam nicham wa anicham wati anicham bante yambanicham dukkam watam sukham wati dukkam bante yambanicham dukkam viparinamadamam kalanutam samanupasitum etamama esohamasmi esome atati no hetam bante Vedana anicca wa anicca wati anicca bante yang panicca dukkam watam sukham wati dukkam bante yang panicca dukkam viparinama dhammam kalanutam samanupasitum etam mama esohamasmi esome atati no hetam bante sanya anicca wa anicca wati anicca bante yang paniccan dukkam watam sukham wati dukkam bante yang paniccan dukkam viparinama dhammam kalanutam samanupasitum etam mama esohamasmi esome atati no hetam bante Sangkala anicca wa anicca wati anicca bante yang panicam dukkam watam sukham wati dukkam bante yang panicam dukkam viparinama dhammam kalanutam samanupasitum etam mama esohamasmi esome atati no hetam bante. Okay. Then after they follow by Sankara Sanya, right? So, okay, now we direct go to the Pali first. We finish the Pali, let's go to the... Okay, this one we already discussed the five aggregate last week, right? And then we already discussed the statement that if this impermanence, and then the impermanent will lead to suffering. Okay, so okay, we study the Pali again. Okay, Tangkimanyata, what do you think, Bikawe, right? Lupa, Nicha or anicca, right? This one I think we not study yet. Last week we study up to where? Oh yeah, last week we are studying about this affliction, whether the lupa form lead to affliction abada or not. Okay, because it leads to affliction, so if it's a self, then this form will not lead to affliction. So it's possible for it to the form, let it be dust, let it not be dust. Because the form is non-self, the form lead to affliction, so it's not possible to have it of form, let my form be dust, let my form not be dust. Actually, the English is not so bad. You look, the Pali actually clearer. So the idea is just talking about if the lupa lead to affliction, you cannot say, may my lupa be hotum, be like this, and my lupa ma a hosi. It's a negative here, so not be like that. Because the lupa is anatta. That's why the lupa lead to abada, lead to affection. So not chalapati, it cannot obtain regarding the lupa. So evam me lupam hotu, may my lupa, may my body, evam in this way, evam me ma ahosi. May my body or form in A1. We can say in this way or in that way, right? Okay, So this is maybe next time when we have opportunity, we will study again this in Pali class. Okay. Now I think we finished the 5 aggregates last week already. Now from this part, the Buddha start to ask the bhikkhu. All right. Tangkimanyata bhikkhave. Right. The Buddha asked, what do you think, bhikkhu? Rupam nichang wa anichang vati. Is the form permanent? Nicha is permanent, right? Anicca is impermanent. Then the bhikkhu, they reply, anicham, impermanent, bande, right? Then the Buddha asks, yang panicham, what is impermanent? Dukkham vatam sukham va. Va is all. Dukkham is the what is impermanent. Is what is impermanent, suffering, dukkham, or happiness, sukham. Then the bhikkhu answered, dukkham bande, right? Suffering, vulnerable. They ask, yang panicham dukkham, what is impermanent? What is impermanent? Dukkham, what is suffering? What is viparinama? Viparinama dhamma, all right? Subject to change, all right? Viparinama means subject to change. Nama here is translated as subject, right? Subject to change. What is impermanent? What is suffering? And what is subject to change? All right? Kalam nu is a nu here is a question here. Okay. So is it fit to be regarded? All right. Samadhu pasitum is infinity here. So is it fit to contemplate or regarded as etam mama? Mama is mine. This is mine. Eso ha asmi. This is I. This I am. Eso me ata. This is myself. Right. So this word, if you want to break down, will be okay. Eso plus aham plus asmi, right? So this eso, I aham am asmi. So eso ha asmi, right? So the statement is all this, what is impermanent, what is suffering, what is subject to change. Can you contemplate it as mama, my thing? I aham atta, myself. Then the bhikkhu said, no, no means not, all right. No, hetam, he atam, he etam, so no vulnerable self, right? So from this statement, so we look at the Pali here. So the idea is the body or form subject to impermanent, all right? So anicca, okay? What is anicca? The Buddha asks, what is it the body is impermanent or permanent, or nicca or anicca? So the Bande, the monks, they reply, is impermanent. So if it's impermanent, so the next question is it suffering or happiness? So this means that from the anicca, you get the idea is suffering. Okay, this is a question, all right? And what is suffering? What is the impermanent anicca? What is the dukkha, suffering? And another idea, subject to change, right? So we call it change. So here the Pali is a vi pali na. All right. So now the next question is, can you regard them as atta or not? Atta you translate as self or soul. So that's the question the Buddha want to point out. From the idea of impermanent, you get the idea of suffering. From the idea of these two, you know the body is subject to change. So if all these impermanent suffering subject to change, can you consider it as atta or not? So this is why the Buddha said, or you can contemplate in this way, mama, aham, atta. Right? So from this way, you can contemplate. There are 3 ways of contemplation, right? Mama, my, right? Aham means I. So atta means self, right? then the answer is no. But if you look at some, okay, this one. Okay, now, all right. So if we're talking about the idea of mama, my, all right. So it's with the craving. This is my, like for example, you're talking about your properties, your car, your house, your children, your partner, whatever. So it's with the craving, right? So this my. So if talking about this aham, asmi mana. So you're talking about this I am with the pride. So everything you say, I'm good, I'm clever, I'm what this, you have the pride here. So if you're thinking with the self, so you have the wrong view here, dikti. So when somebody had this statement, etam mama, esoha me, I think this one, okay? So this is what the Buddha asked, etam mama, esoha asmi, eso me atta. So with these three, is trying to ask the bhikkhu could contemplate if they have craving, if they have mana, conceit, and also wrong view. All right. So these are the three defilements that the Buddha trying to point out. Three defilements here. Okay. So one is a craving. So this is with the mana, conceit. So this is with the wrong view. Okay. Okay. Any question up to you? Okay. Any question?
Saidi.
Yes.
So these three, my, I, and self, is not merely from the effect of delusion. It's actually more refined. Then it's actually craving, conceit, and wrong view.
Yeah, right. But
Even
of
though
course,
it actually
everything,
underlying is delusion.
yes, yeah, everything is all these are based on ignorance, right? Avijja, yeah.
Avijja.
Because yes, but because they still have to break down to the sense of this one. Mama means mine. When you think things like my car, my house, my properties, is craving here. But you think that I'm here, I'm good at study, like I'm good meditation, then you conceit. And when they think that the self, there's the idea of self going on forever, and next life also the self will continue, right? So because people will have the idea when you pass away, most people will not say I will die in this life, right? So what they do is they will think that when they pass away, they will be their next life they will continue as another person, right? So they will not. Most people will not say when I pass away I will die. I will disappear forever. They will say, I will continue in next life as another person, born again, rebirth again, go to grown up from child to adulthood and go to work. And then they will practice meditation or become a Buddhist again, or maybe in future they will want to meet a future Buddha. So the idea of atta is always very strong, right? Because the idea of self will continue forever. Even like most Buddhists, I think, they will prefer this self to continue forever. Okay.
But Saidi, I wish to approach it from the factors for Sotapan. Sotapan is
Okay.
actually Ditti is one of the defilements that they have actually
Okay. Right.
eradicated. But
Yes.
this
So
atta
Sotapana.
is not but atta is not part of it, even though it's Ditti.
Right. Sotapana has eradicated how many times? Remember?
Sakaya Ditti.
Okay. So Sakaya Ditti, they have this wrong view of Ditti and then clinging to wrongful practice and doubts. Okay. So this means that for the Sotapana, because the bhikkhu who are listening at that time, they are Sotapana. Right. So do they have this one? Craving?
They still have
Yes, they still have, all right. So still has, okay, they had this one. Do they still have conceit?
Yes.
Yes. All right. Do they have wrong view?
I think yes, because the I, the so-called, it's only intellectual, probably intellectual idea of atta is not there, but they haven't fully realized.
Okay, because they are not arahant yet. So maybe you can say that, well, but of course they have irritated the sakkayaditthi, right?
Part of
Already
it, only part of the
irritated
wrong view
the sakka, so how to spell?
Sakkaya Ditthi.
Sakka, how to spell it? Sakkaya ditthi. Okay, okay, sakkaya ditthi. Okay. So
Double K, I think.
yeah, double K. All right. So here, so maybe don't have wrong view, but they still have the conceit. They still have the craving. All right. So that's why they need to practice, listen to this Anattalakkhanasutta. And the way Buddha explained Anattalakkhanasutta, you can see is always from the idea of impermanent. All right. Now here, for this, any meditation, right? Any meditator, okay, has to contemplate non-self, true, anicca, and dukkha. All right. It's not easy to contemplate to the non-self directly. You still have to go through the anicca and dukkha, because to the anicca and dukkha, then they see the changings. Okay, when you see the changes in the body, for example, what does it lead to? Realization lead to the realization of uncontrollable, right? This means that it leads to the idea of the non-self, right? Only through the changes, anicca and dukkha, then you can get the idea of non-self. All right, because you can see even the Buddha have to go through, for the bhikkhu who already attained the Sotapanna, the Buddha have to go through idea of nitya or anicca. Then they say, they confirm themselves is anicca, right? Impermanent. So what is anicca? Is it dukkha or sukha? Is it suffering or happiness? Right? They say it's a suffering. So what is impermanence, suffering, subject to change? Anicca, dukkha, and viparinama. Is it suitable to contemplate? All right, you can take it as contemplate. Eta mama, eswamasi, eswame atati. Is it I? Is it my? Is it this I? Is it myself? No. So they confirm themselves is no venerable self. Okay.
But you see, I mean, if you look at it this way, the changes in the body uncontrollable. The deduction of non-self is under the Buddha's analysis. But if you look at the other ascetic, they'll say, okay, there's no such thing as karma because it cannot be controlled. It's beyond your control. So there's no karma unless they have the wisdom to penetrate from other angles.
Then they have wrong view because they don't believe in karma. This means that they have the wrong view, right?
No. What I mean is from these changes, the anicca, then it shows that there are changes, and that changes is uncontrollable.
Okay.
And because of that, that's why unless they have some background about karma, if they don't have they say, okay, it's not controllable, so there's no such thing as karma. There's no cause and effect unless they are able to see the cause and the effect correlation. But if they cannot see the cause and the effect correlation, then they are more likely to deduce that there is no karma.
Yeah.
Because it's not controllable,
Yes, but we are not talking about karma here. We are talking about the idea of atta here. So why karma talk about here? You're talking about wrong view, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So I find that this could be a lot of interrelated wrong view, ignorance. Then on top of that, there is the conceit and the craving interplay between that the combinations of mind, of the way the thinking is.
Okay, right. But this talk is specially for meditator, all right? So that's why no need to talk about karma because they already full as a Buddhist already. Okay, So that's why the Buddha actually helping them to gain further enlightenment.
No, because I was also trying to understand, because last time when I read this, I could not comprehend how the tree comes into play, and then that probably give the ideas why the external factor could not grasp it, and then could not finally reach the enlightenment. So it's just like for us, when we practice, unless we have proper guidance,
Okay.
if we go by our own, even reading, it's difficult to convince ourselves. And even if you were to in your meditation, you see the rising, for example,
Okay.
the appearing and then the disappearing. Then we can
Okay.
deduce that we thought that okay, if it is the what you call arising and is disappearing of phenomenal, but that doesn't lead us to believe that there is anicca. I think it's just that there's the absence, then there's a presence, then suddenly there's an absence. But how does the correlation come about? And that's probably the reason why during the Buddha's time, there's so many other teachers teaching different ways, because that is how they interpret it.
Okay. Okay, let me continue, right? Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Right. So now after the monks they confirm on this rupa, all right. So you can see the Pali is actually same on the rupa, and I change to this Vedana. Right. Just now is nityam, now it's nitya. Right. If you want to learn Pali, this A, so it must be long A. So just now is nityam. Now you see, because just now is M, and this is the Nigaita, nasal sound. Now after they confirm the rupa, now the Buddha start to ask on the Vedana. So it's same Pali actually. Actually, the only this part is different. This sentence is different. Then the rest here is actually quite same, right? But here is also long A. So Vedana nitya wa anicca vati. So I have to answer nitya, not nityam, nitya, anityam, right? So then what is anityam? Is it suffering or sukha? All right, it's the same as Pali. All right, now after that will be Sankhara. So after they start to contemplate our body, why you need to contemplate the body? Because body is the easiest to see compared to mind. All these like Vedana, feeling, all these are very subtle, more subtle compared to body. All right. So how do you contemplate your feeling as impermanence? Right. So I think we already discussed last week. So all the feeling you should see as, contemplate as impermanent. Right. How do you contemplate as impermanent? So you are trying to see all the good feeling, any good feeling, or we call it a pleasant feeling, unpleasant feeling, or any neutral feeling. All right. You can see all this should be seen as a changing or impermanent. What's the meaning of impermanent? Impermanent means arises and passes away. So everything that arises, they will cease one day or even cease as second. Right? So after you see the impairment and suffering, then you have to realize that all the feelings, all the impermanence, anicca, lead to dukkha, right? And then after that, dukkha lead to the viparinama. So it's good to remember changes. And then you come to the conclusion that everything is not I, not mine, right? It means coming to the idea of non-self. So if you can control the feeling, this means that we want good feeling all the time. Because we cannot control the feeling, that's why we have a pain, itch, bitten by animals, bitten by insects, mosquito, and so on, right? Then after that, sanya also, right? I think feeling is easier to understand, but sanya is different. Sanya, you have to remember, sanya means there are few ideas of sanya. One is perception, right? Another idea of sanya means talking about memory. Means that our memory can be very, for example, you try to remember some like Pali text, okay? You cannot remember because your sanya is impermanent, right? And perception, you maybe remember things remember bad things, or you can have a maybe bad, or your perception on bad things, like your perception on your on enemy or on danger. All this will lead to a suffering. Right? So any kind of a sanya, is it nicha or anicca, impermanent? So what is impermanent? Is it suffering, dukkha or sukha? Then it's a suffering. Right? What is impermanent? What is suffering? What is subject to change? Viparinama. So do you think it's suitable? Is etamama, is omasmi? Is it mine? Is it I? Is it myself? Okay. So perception, you have to, when you want to meditate, you have to make more effort. All right. Anything perception, memory or labeling. So this one we covered last week. All right. Then after that, the Buddha followed by Sankhara. Now, Sankhara is a big group here, right? Out of the 52 Sankhara, so we already say we have the 52 Cetasika, mental factors. You minus the feeling, Vedana, and then you minus the Sanya. Okay. So then you minus these two. So what you get is 50. It's a big group there. Under the Sankhara, there will be greed, hatred, delusion, wrong view, intention, and so on. So even our Sankhara is anicca, nicca or anicca, okay? Sankhara nicca wa anicca wati, anicca bande, yang panicca dukkham wata, sukham wati, dukkham bande, yang panicca dukkham viparinama dhammam, kalanutam samanupasitum, etam mama, esomasmi, esome atati, no hetam bande. So the text actually is actually same way the Vedana, right? Here's long A here. Because Sankhara is a nominative plural here. Yeah. Then after that, Vijnanam. Now, Vijnanam is the way, right? Actually, same with Lupam, because with the M, the Nigehita, M dot here, right? So, Vijnanam niccam wa aniccam vati, aniccam bande, yang panicam dukkham vata, sukham vati, dukkham bande, yang panicam dukkham viparinama dhammam, kalanutam samanupasitum, etam mama, esomasmi, esome atati, no hetam bande. Okay, now Sankhara. Any Sankhara you can contemplate. All the good Sankhara will be, okay, maybe like your effort to study is also impermanent, because one day you make effort, the next day you don't want to make effort. All the loving kindness, all these are good one, right? All the mindfulness, all these are good Sankhara. Okay. Chetana, intention, all these are good Sankhara. Okay, so this Sankhara, it arise and it will cease. So you need to make effort again for the mindfulness, metta to continue. So they are impermanence also. But when we talk about greed, hatred, delusion, why do we call them impermanent? They're also impermanent because they are subject to rise and fall, right? And also we have a wrong view here. All right, so any Sankhara, you can contemplate them as impermanence, suffering, and they are subject to change, and they are not mine, they are not this I, and they are not this atta. Now, consciousness is any consciousness that you see. Right? Normally, consciousness, we are talking about the eye consciousness, ear consciousness, we call it the sixth sense consciousness, because they are easy to contemplate in the meditation, right? For example, the eye, the ear, the nose, the tongue consciousness, the body consciousness. So consciousness will also arise and pass away. So they are impermanence. So what is impermanence? Is it dukkha or sukha? The answer is dukkha. What is impermanent? What is dukkha? What is subject to change? Viparinama, dhamma. So is it suitable to contemplate? This is the mind, this I, this my soul, myself. No hetam bande, no bande. All right. So because it's not possible for you to contemplate, let my consciousness be get good object all the time. So our consciousness also arise and fall all the time. Okay, so this part is on the Q&A. All right. So if you study this sutta, is from this part tamkimanyata until the repeat 5 times. All these are Q&A. Now, after that, from here on, this is the kind of like affirmation by Buddha. So from here on, the Buddha actually tell you to contemplate in how many ways. All right. So tasma tiha bhikkhave yam kinche rupam atita nagata pachupanam, right? Ajatan wa bahida wa olalikan wa sukhamang wa hina wa panitam wa yam dure santike wa sabam rupam netam mama neswamasmi na meso attati ewametam yada buddham samapanyaya dathabam. Okay, so the Buddha asks us to contemplate therefore tasmatiha bhikkhave bhikkhus yam kinchi. Kinchi here you translate as any, all right? Any kind. Yam is a whatsoever. Whatsoever means any of the body, any of the material, form or this form, rupa, you can translate in two ways. We can take any material or we are talking our physical body or any form here. Any of this rupa, whether in atita is past, all right? Anagata, all right? So this is actually made of three. So you can break down to Atita is past, Anagata is future, Pachupanna is present, right? Present moment. So whatever, any form, whatsoever, whether in the past, Atita, future, Anagata, present, Pachupanna. So this means that they are talking about 3 moments, okay? 3 times here. Ajata, internal. Bahida, external. So they're talking about inside us or outside. Outside may be refer to the environment, or outside may refer to the rupa in the body of others, right? Olalika is gross. Gross means that it's easy to see. Sukuma is subtle, not easy to see. Hina, inferior, right? Panita, superior. What kind of lupa is hina? It's talking about like when you, for example, you can say when you fall sick, then your lupa is not good, right? Or when you are, panita means when you are meditating, so your lupa generator is very good, right? Or when your body is healthy, then you got panita, superior. Yam, dure is far. Santike is near, where it's talking about, is it near or far? All sabang lupang, all form. Netam. Now you can see you put the just now is etam, here is netam, all the negative. Netam mama. Just now is eso, now is the neso. Right? This is not my netam mama. Neso hasasmi. This I am not. Na meso atta. This is not myself. Right? Then ewamita yada buddha sampai. Where's another one? Okay. You should be see with the correct wisdom, yeah. Okay. Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. Ewa metam, right? So yada buddham is as it really is. Samapanyaya. Samapanyaya is we correct wisdom. Sama, right? Correct panya is wisdom. Correct wisdom. That tabam should be seen, right? Should be seen, right? So it's talking about you are supposed to see in how many ways? 3 times, 1, 2, 3, right? So past, present, future, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So in 11 ways, right? So all forms, all rupa should be seen. Should be seen means that it should be contemplated right wisdom or correct wisdom. Correct wisdom means that you must see this is not I, not mine. All right, not means that with not mine is without the craving, without the conceit, and without the wrong view. Okay, so here the Buddha actually repeating the same thing, but here it say very clearly that for the monks not to attach to any rupa at all in 11 ways, right? Whether far or near, whether in the present time, future times, whether gross or subtle, inferior and superior. So all of this, they should contemplate with the correct wisdom, means that without the craving, without the conceit, without the wrong view, right? So because when they recite the Pali, so at that time Pali is a language, all right? So when they recite the Pali, so at that time the Pali is a language for the monks. So when the monks hear this, they can contemplate directly. They can practice directly because it's a language that Buddha used, and it's a language that they can understand immediately. So they don't need to go through translation. So it's very easy for them to contemplate. So the Buddha said, "Oh, this one you should contemplate. It's not mine. It's not this I. It's not the self. There's no soul." So they listen, they contemplate, listen and contemplate. That's why at the end of this listening, they become the arahant because they practice at the same time. Of course, this is all due to their parami. Because of their parami, they can practice very straightforward because they already have a good basis and they already become sotapanna. So their level of defilement is very low, so they can accept and they can contemplate well. So it's very easy for them to become enlightened. All right. Okay, now you can see everything is repeat. Same thing. And the Buddha say in 11 ways. Okay, question up to here. Okay. Okay, no question, I continue, right? So this statement actually repeat for the Vedana, Sanya, Sankhara, Vijnana, right? So actually it's quite a repeat here. But of course, to recite this, you have to know some Pali grammar also. Here, yam kinchi lupam. Okay, you can see with the nikihita, with the M dot. Here is yam, this is ya. Here is kimchi, this is ya kachi, right? Chi here means when the kim is any, so with the kimchi, kim is actually maybe one or two, but kimchi is referred to any here. So Vedana, Sanya. So lupam is neuter. So this feeling is a feminine, Sanya also feminine, right? So you can see the Pali is a little bit different. So Ajatam is same, Bahida is same, Olalikam, here is Olalika. Here is Sukamam, this is Sukama. Here is Hinam, Hina. Panitam, Panita, right? Then Yam, follow the Lupam. Here is Ya, follow the Vedana. And then Sabba Vedana, all right? So to recite actually not difficult, but you have to remember some of the Pali grammar rules about the different gender. Okay. Now here is Ajatam. So I was thinking, why do we put, since it's all with the feminine case, so why do we put the M dot here, right? So I was doing some checking. So it seems that at another place is also have the long A here, right? So maybe at another sutta you can see it's not with the M dot, with the Nigahita, so it's with the long A. Okay, so this means that it can be long A or with the M dot here. Okay, maybe this one put under this sign is better. So anyway, the Buddha repeat this statement for contemplation in 11 ways for the Vedana, for the Sanya, for the Sankhara, for the Vijnanam. So this is to make sure that the monks, they don't have any attachment, whether to the past, because what's the meaning of past? When they're thinking about maybe their memories of their beloved one in the past, or they have some idea about future, right? So any attachment towards this past, future, present, internal, external, whether on the feeling, on the form, body, form, feeling, perception, mental formation, or consciousness. So 11 ways. They should not have any attachment, craving, and wrong will. So the statement actually repeat in 5 ways. Right? Now after we come to the conclusion, right? Now this is the how they gain enlightenment here. So this sutta actually is very short. I mean, if you make effort, I think any of you, if you really make effort, you can memorize this sutta. Actually, it's quite easy to memorize compared to the Dhammacakka. Dhammacakka is actually more long. This is actually quite short. And there are a lot of repeating because it's talking about the 5 aggregate khanda. So the Pali statement is actually quite same with only some difference in terms of grammar, like just feminine, the neutral, and so on. And feminine and neutral case, right? So if you can remember it, it's good for you can try it, challenge yourself to memorize it. Okay, now we come to this part, right? Okay, evam pasam bhikkhave sutawa arya savako lupasamimpi nibidanti vedanayapi nibidanti sankhalayapi nibidanti sankharesupi nibidanti viyana samimpi nibidanti nibidam virajati viraga vimuchati Vimutasami vimutamiti jnanam hoti kina jati vusitam brahmacharyam khatam karaniyam naparang itatayati pajanati iti. Alright. Okay. Now. Okay. Evam thus. Pasam seeing. Seeing thus. What is the meaning of seeing thus? Seeing thus means that as the Buddha taught them how to contemplate, all right, direct of course see, but they don't see with their eyes, see with the eye of wisdom. Contemplating tasks, right? Bhikkhus, bhikkhave, sutawa, Arya Savako. Here, Arya Savako, noble. So this means that at this stage, they confirm they have become enlightened already because they already reached the Sotapanna. So they are noble disciple. Sutawa. Sutawa means sutta. Sutta means heard. Means that they already heard the teaching from the Buddha. So they already learned the teaching. That's why it's translated instructed because they received the instruction from the Buddha. All right. So they nibindati. So means that they are nibindati, they translate experiencing revulsion. So maybe better find another translation. Get weary, all right, or disgust, turn away. All right. Yeah, weary, yeah. Okay. So now here, they are weary or they are not interested, or another way you see, but they are no more interested in the lupa. It's a locative case here. So because here, as I mentioned in the Pali class, sometimes the locative is taken, is actually to say this as object here. So they are weary on the lupa as the object, okay? Right, so they are not interested, weary or not interested on the lupa, vedana, right, perception, feeling, sanya, perception, sankhara, right, volitional formation, so just make the formation, vijnana, consciousness. So this means that after they seeing thus, they practice as thus, as taught by the Buddha, because they have already listened the instruction from the Buddha, they already as a noble person at that time, so they are no more interested. Is a wary how do I pronounce it? Wary, yeah. From the rupa, okay, from the vedana, from the perception, and this one, right? So this means that from here, they don't have the. So you can say from this point that they don't have the no more craving, right? Okay, no more craving already, as they have practiced according to the Buddha's instruction, right? Okay, so no more craving, no more attachment to the 5 aggregates, right? Okay. Right? Nibidam virajati, right? Virajati. Now, this virajati, you can see jati means viraga, right? So these two also mean the same thing. Maybe here better, okay? So at this point, when this Pali, it just show that they have no more virajati, means no more craving to the 5 aggregates. Let's copy here. Become dispassionate viraga. Okay. So it's a very short Pali, but it's very significant. So he no more he no more interested, no more craving, dispassionate. And because of this passionate, his mind is vimuchati, is liberated. Liberated here means liberation liberation from the defilements, all right? Any mental defilements. This means that from here, if this statement comes, means that he become Arahant, right? Then vimutasamin, vimutam iti, vimutamiti, vimutam and iti, jnana hoti, right? When liberated, there comes the knowledge, right? So this means that here the knowledge, this means that if somebody become Arahant, he will know. Definitely because the knowledge arises in his mind. The liberation is there. So if somebody become Arahant, he doesn't know he's become Arahant, it will be very strange, right? Because the knowledge comes and he knows by himself. He understand, all right? Pajanati, he understand. Birth, jati, is destroyed, kina, right? Usitam, brahmacharya, holy life. Brahmacharya means holy life. Usitam has been lived. Katam kariniyam. This is actually very good Pali because you can see a lot in the sutta. Katam kariniyam. Katam is has been done. Kariniyam. What had to be done? Kariniyam. Katam had been done. Naparam itataya. Tik pajanati. There's no more for this state of being. This means that after this life, there will be no more next life. So confirm his Arahant here. Okay. Okay. Any question up to here? All right. No question. We continue. Yes.
Ji, I ask a question. It's telling us that when the person is enchanted, he becomes dispassionate. So, dispassion is liberated. Is it the meaning that way?
Which way? This way? Yeah, talking about this one, right?
This paragraph is telling us that
Yeah.
this enchanted, he becomes dispassionate. So through dispassion, he is liberated. So when he understands and destroy, birth is destroyed, then he has lived and what has already been done. Then no more. Is it the meaning they're telling us? Is it? I
What kind of meaning? No, from this Nibidam Virajati Viragam Vimuchati means that we know that he has no more craving. Vimuchati means that he is liberated. Liberated means liberation from defilements. All right. So this part shows that he already reached the stage of Arahant. Okay.
Okay.
So he has reached the stage of Arahant. Right. And then here means that from this statement means that he knows, right? He knows clearly, right? Because some would say when somebody reach enlightenment, they will not know, but it cannot be. Enlightenment is very clear state for that person. That he has reached, okay. Arahant, better Arahant. We just list the Arahant. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, I got
it. And this next paragraph, holy life has been lived with them by done. There's no more of them. This show that this part show that he has no more future life. All right, no more future life. There is no more future life. Okay, as he has answered, means that he has reached the end of samsara. Okay, never mind, it's okay. All right. So this to show that what will happen to him in the future. There will be no more happening to him in the future. All right. So no more future life. Okay.
Got it. Thank you.
Okay. Now, idama vocha bhagawa atamana panchavaggiya bhikkhu bhagavato basitam abhinandunti. So this is another one, Sri Lanka version, abhinandum. All right. Imasamin chapana veakana samin banya mane panchavaggiyanam bhikkhunam anupadaya asavehi chitani vimuchimsu. Right? Idam avocha, right? Idam, this or that, avocha, say, Bhagawa, by the Buddha. So atamana, so elated means the mind is happy here. Panchavaggiya bhikkhu means those bhikkhu of a group of 5. Okay. Now abhinandum, right? Like Nanda, right? The root is Nanda, so they are delighted in the statement Pasitam Bhagavato, the blessed one, right? Right. So ima samin chapana vyarkana san banyamane. So banyamane means was being spoken. Vyarkana means kind of like you can take it as discourse. Another meaning of vyarkana is explanation. Right? Vyarkana. Explanation, answer, or exposition. Right? Okay, so this discourse or this exposition means that the Buddha explaining this as above was being spoken. Is a locative absolute here. So the monks, the mind here, chittani, right? Chittani, the minds of the bhikkhus, bhikkhunam, of the group of 5, right? Panchavaggiyanam were liberated. Vimuchimsu, okay, it's a aorist, a third person plural. From the taints, all right? Taints here is asawa. So we translate as asawa here. By non-clinging, this one, non-clinging. Anupada. Anupada. Okay. Upada. Not upada. Not this upada. No, this one. From this upadayati, right? Taking out. Upada. Long issue. Long upada. Right? Upada. Non-clinging. So here means that now when the Buddha preached at the same time, you can see it was being spoken. It's a use of a continuous tense here, right? Mana suffix. It's a continuous tense. So this means that when the Buddha was spoken was the monks practice at the same time when the Buddha was preaching the above discourse. So it's not that after the Buddha preached, they practice. So when the Buddha preaching, they are practicing at the same time. So that's why when they recite all this Pali, it's a language for them at that time, you know. So when they recite all this Pali, the Buddha say all these suttas. So it's a language for them, they understand immediately. So they can contemplate whether all these lupam, ewame, lupam hoto ewame ma ahositi. So they can realize it whether it's impermanence or not impermanent, whether they are sukha or dukkha, whether they are subject to happiness or not happiness, right? So remember, Pali is a language for them. It's not something that, like us, for us, Pali is something that you only see in a text. But to them, Pali is a language, it's a direct for them, they can understand right away. Okay, so the end of this segment already finished. Okay, then. Right, tena ko pana samayena. So at that time, cha loke, 6 loke in the world, arahanto hoti. Now in the world, where is the world? Now this is a question for you. Where is this world? Okay, anybody want to say how many worlds we have? Okay.
Many
Mira?
worlds.
Hmm?
Many worlds.
Okay, so where is this world?
Free
Where is
world.
this world? Huh?
Free world.
So yes, okay, but this word loka, loke is a locative case here. So where is this word talking about? Okay, how about Vira? Can I hear you? Yeah.
Manusia.
Manusa. Okay. So at that time, only 6 Arahan in the world. But how about the Deva world? How many? Do you think that at that time? Yes, many. All right. Because when the Buddha preached the Dhammacakka, at that time many Deva come and listen, right? Right. So, but at that time on this world is only 6 Arahan. Who are they? 6. Who are these 6?
Buddha and
5 plus Buddha, 6.
Yeah.
Buddha
5
already
plus
and
Buddha.
Arahan already.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Okay. So
Pancavajja plus Buddha.
all right, so you have the 5 bhikkhus plus the Buddha, all right? So total are
Yes.
6. So the Buddha actually he is also Arahant, all right?
Yes.
Yes.
So the meaning of Arahant is those who, what's the meaning of Arahant? Okay, so Arahant means somebody reaches the,
Eradicate the deformity.
reach the 4 stages. There are 4 stages of enlightenment, all right? And then another one is eradicated all defilements. All right. So the Buddha also reached the 4 stages and also eradicate all the defilements. So the Buddha is also called Arahant. Okay. Because somebody, if not, be thought that Arahant only refer to Buddha disciple. Okay. So all right. So I think today we will finish here. So if no more questions, so we stop here. All right. So I hope some of you will try to recite these suttas. How about Vera? Do you think you got time to recite?
No.
Is it difficult to recite? Do you think it's difficult to recite this sutta?
I think it's easier than the Dhammacakka, but I'm trying so hard. The Dhammacakka, I still cannot.
Oh, Dhammacakka.
Finish.
What you do when you recite the sutta, you break to paragraph by paragraph, sentence by sentence. So you get the first sentence right, then you proceed to the second sentence. Then you proceed to the third sentence until you get the whole paragraph. When you finish the paragraph, you recite the paragraph again. When the paragraph is okay, then you move to the next paragraph. You know, like Lego, parts by parts, you build out in your mind. So this one actually I recite before when I stay in the Lunas, about how many? 10, 15 years ago. Yeah, I can recite, but I have to take time to think about the grammar also. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, we finish here. So all right, next week I will continue with other. Next week I think we will go for some of the other points at the back of the Buddha is teaching. There are something about the maybe some important point there, right? So I try to cover the scope that will come for the exam for these 2 vulnerable. Yeah, I think they are here. So yes, Brother Ko.
This loka, because we also have kama loka, rupa loka, and arupa loka. Can the loka also refers to the 31 realms?
Yeah, but normally talking about human. Because only at that time human only 6. But if you are talking about the other loka, there will be more than 6 definitely. Okay, because the Buddha appear very rare. So when the Buddha appear in the world, so the devas, Brahma, they know already. So they gather to listen during the Dhammacakka. So there are many, they say, become Arahant or stream enterer, whatever, different levels of enlightenment. So there should not be only 6 at that time. If talking about 6, is only talking about the human world, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Because the Buddha is considered as this world cycle, right? It's the third Buddha in this world cycle.
Third lah. I think 4th, right? Third or 4th.
Fourth in the world cycle.
Okay.
So many of these Brahmas have actually lived for many world cycles already.
Yeah, actually,
Brahmas are actually Arya Brahmas.
Yeah, but the thing is, we say the Buddha, what's the word? Hola. They are actually waiting in anticipation, you know. So before that, before the Buddha born as a Prince Siddhartha, where was he? Where was he before he was born in the
heaven?
Tusita.
Yeah, okay, so at that time, did he have many friends and many companions, right? So when he came to the human world, they all escort him, right? Escort him until he born here. And then this means that they know that he will become the Buddha. And also for them, their lifespan is very long. Our lifespan is so short. Today is just a second only before the Prince Siddhartha renounce the world and later become the Buddha. So of course they are waiting for such a good chance to listen to Dhamma. Because if they miss this time, they have to wait for another time for the next Buddha to come. Right? So also like us, maybe at the Buddha time, we are either frog or ants or animals. We are staying around the Buddha. That's why we are Buddhist until now, right? We also might be still around when the Buddha appear at that time. But we don't know whether we are human or not human. That's the thing. Okay. Anyway, the purpose of this Anattalakkhanasutta is actually the second sutta. You can say preached by the Buddha, but in terms of Tipitaka, it's the third sutta. Then another one is Hemawata Sutta. That was also quite interesting to study. Okay, so all right, if no question, we'll finish now. All right, so I hope you all continue your study. And
thank you.
But you want to sit for exam for Pali or not?
Thank you, Sayuchi, for the teaching.
Okay.